Hello and welcome to Infodumping with two nerds in a truck. Today we are talking about Fork Lake Trail at Algonquin Provincial Park.
We should call it like a mini info dumping.
Yeah, Minfodumping?
Minfo dumping. You're such a dork. We were in the midst of our epic, crazy spring camping trip for 2.5 months or whatever, and saw a Facebook post that they opened a brand new trail in Algonquin. And given that we're kind of booked solid for the summer, we decided, you know what, let's throw this on the end of the trip. So instead of going home from Killbear, we went to Algonquin specifically to do a trail.
Yes.
Because that sounds like something we'd do.
It does.
Anyway, it is a 2.4 kilometer long trail.
Yes.
Was it? So we saw it posted and it was brand new. I'd seen announcements about it last fall. So it seemed like it was a very quick announcement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the opening part of the trail, I've seen that as a work area for at least a couple of years, I think. I thought it was like a maintenance area back there, right?
I did too.
Anyway, let's get into some of the logistics here and then you tell us about the trail.
Sure.
So registration and check-in is the same as Algonquin Park in general, that you're going to need either a camping pass or day pass in order to park there and do the trail. Easy enough. Parking.
Yeah, there's tons of parking at that visitor center, so it's back in the corner and you're not going to, have a difficult time finding a spot.
The trailhead is in the parking lot of the visitor center.
It is.
Washrooms, there are washrooms at the visitor center. I think there's an outhouse in the parking lot too, isn't there?
I'm sorry, I don't recall.
I can't remember. Basically, across the street is the Spruce Bog Boardwalk Trail, though, and they've got year-round washrooms there. So if you need to go, there's where you go.
Yes.
Maps and signage. So there was a map at the front I saw on the sign.
Yeah. I took a picture of it and I just kind of took the trail.
It's a pretty straightforward loop, though.
That's the thing is we'll get into this later, but you're not going to get lost.
Okay, signage.
There are a few signs. Again, I grabbed photos quickly and I figured I'll check those out later. There is supposed to be a trail guide that's kind of, I guess, equivalent to a map. Mm-hmm. It says they're coming soon, so they're not available yet. There are some posts that are supposed to correspond to those trail guides.
So how was the trail for you? You had a bit of a bad run with trails this year where you'd go out and you'd not see any what are they called? Flashes or?
Oh, blazes.
Blazes, that's it. You wouldn't see trail blazes and you get lost. How was it for like trail signage?
Trail signage was great. There were blazes, there were arrows during, tight curves. Honestly, you don't really need them. The trail is really well worn and marked and everything. Yeah, really obvious.
So we should say it only opened about a week before you did this trail.
Right.
So we weren't quite sure what to expect as far as new trails go.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, accessibility. See, I couldn't do this trail because I was too crippled. So you're going to have to speak as an able-bodied person about the accessibility of this trail, but I already know what you're going to say here.
It is not an accessible trail. This is a difficult trail, so any kind of mobility aid is probably going to be a no-go.
Would I have been able to do it in a boot if my knees weren't screwed up?
Possibly, but you would definitely want a staff or something to help steady yourself. In fact, I think that's even for an able-bodied person, there are sections where that would be beneficial.
I saw a lot of people coming out with some form of walking stick.
Yeah.
And 2 of them for some people.
Right.
Okay, so not accessible. Cool. Pets, I'm assuming the basics apply.
Yeah, standard Ontario Provincial Park rules are keep them on a leash 2 meters long, don't let them harass wildlife or other campers, and pick up after them and properly dispose of the waste.
Were there garbages along the way?
I did not see any garbages along the way.
You probably weren't looking though either.
No, I really wasn't, but I think I would have noticed them. But I will say, as far as pets go, though, there are some really steep sections. So, like a really small dog might struggle in some areas.
You know what? Backing up to accessibility, you'd mentioned that there were a lot of benches along the way.
That's a good point.
I don't know if there were garbages there, but
no.
I figure we should mention the benches.
Yeah, I didn't count them, but I'm going to say at least a half a dozen.
Nice.
There were a bunch, yeah.
That's a lot for a small area.
Yeah.
So we usually mention park, store, and visitor center. Obviously, this is in the parking lot of the visitor center, and there's a park store in there. And if you're watching this podcast on a Algonquin Provincial Park trail, it's probably because you know Algonquin Provincial Park. So
probably.
It's been a while since we've been in there, so I don't know that we'd really be able to talk much about the visitor center other than those creepy... That's the one with the creepy projected faces?
Right.
You remember that? Anyway.
Yes.
Connectivity.
There is connectivity, cell connectivity in that parking lot. That's actually one of the better areas in Algonquin Provincial
It is
Park.
the area for the most
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
We are
Did,
on Rogers Wireless, just for reference.
Now, I noticed you had messaged me a couple times while you were out, and I don't know how long it took to come through, but I got your messages like at a few points during the trail. So I'm assuming you had connection out on the trail.
I did, yeah. I made a couple quick notes, and one of them you replied very quickly. So
Okay, so it went through pretty quick then, eh?
Yep.
So tell us about the hike.
So the first thing you'll see is a small hill going up, some information boards, and then
That was a steep hill going up. I saw it from the back. I saw it from the parking lot, and I just said no.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, nope, right there.
It's pretty steep, but wait, there's more. It goes down for approximately 120 meters. It goes down so steep that it actually zigzags a little bit to help, and it still is really scary. Like, this is gravel, and every step I felt like, oh man, I'm going to slip and fall on my butt.
Well, you said the gravel was sliding with you.
Yeah, like you take a step and you can kind of feel it give a little bit every step because it's so steep. And so I was walking kind of sideways, almost like, if it's snowy or icy or something, just to kind of like get the best grip I could. And I was still like, ooh,
you didn't want to biff it in the first 100 meters?
I did not. Once you get down that really steep section, you get to this beautiful boardwalk, really, really wide, like at least 2 meters wide. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's cutting through really tall trees. It's absolutely gorgeous. It goes on, it splits up to the actual loop. They are very clear that they want you to take this counterclockwise. It says do not enter on the left, and
oh, really?
It has an arrow over to the right, like go this way. And even there are several bridges on this trail, and the long ones have a do not enter on the backside. So even if you forget which way
the first couple times,
if you miss it the first couple times, or if you're sitting on a bench and forget which way you came from, it's going to tell you to go the other way. So as you proceed, again, you're going through this beautiful forest area. There's a lot of steep sections still on that trail. It gets
are they like long? Because it had mentioned short hills.
Medium length. So to me, short hills are just a few meters.
Okay.
These are tens of meters. Okay. You know what I mean? It does get a lot narrower after that split. The main loop is a lot narrower. There's some sections that you're climbing up these roots and things like that. There's a lot of sections of actual stairs. One set of stairs has 61 stairs.
Is that the longest one?
That's the longest one that I saw. There's further down the loop, you go down a long stairway, and I didn't count those because it's not obviously as difficult to go down. But
God, you are so able.
But when you go up those 61 stairs, you're not on a plateau. You're still on a hill, and you still have to climb. Oh, yeah,
you go straight to hell, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of climbing going on. Several really nice lookouts. Again, those benches are placed in good spots for a view, so you can take a break and get a lovely view of the surrounding forest area.
One thing we should mention is we'd said it was 2.4, was it?
Yeah.
4 kilometers. I'd seen a recommended time of, I think it was an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to do it?
I think it was like 36 minutes. So
he was so sweaty when he came back. It was pretty gross.
Now, to be fair, it is 28 degrees and probably
swampy,
80 or 90% humidity.
Oh, at least.
Yeah,
at least.
It is really warm out today.
But there was a big thunderstorm warning coming, so he did it with intent.
I did. So I was definitely moving.
You figure it's more of an hour and a half to 2 hours trail?
I think if you stop at the overlooks for a nice break and you weren't really hoofing it, I think at least an hour, but an hour and a half could totally be reasonable.
Anything else you want to say about the hike itself?
No, it was really nice. I think I would do it again. There's no specific like this is the lookout you have to look for. It's just several lovely spots along the way. And I'm always up for new trails. So
it sounded like it was really ADD friendly from one of the descriptions I'd read.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of a lot of like boardwalks and bridges and things like that. And
like changing environments.
Exactly. Yeah. So I really like that.
Okay. Biking's what you usually talk about next. I'm assuming though.
I'm picturing somebody trying to go down that first hill on a bike. That would be a bad time.
Should you just stay at the bottom and like videotape hoping for someone to come by? Anyway, birding, wildlife, and nature. Did you see anything interesting?
I did. I was frustrated because I could hear a black-throated blue warbler and I could not find him. So
That's one of your nemesis.
that is, I really love them. They're beautiful. But
I love how I'm like, that's one of your nemesis, and you're like, it is. I love it.
yeah, that's true. I love to hate it, hate to love it. I don't know, something like that.
I feel like if you got pictures of it more often, you'd love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's true.
Now we just curse it. Anyway,
I'll give you the list of what I heard when I was there. Nashville warbler, yellow warbler, chestnut-sided warbler, common raven. They were screaming. They sounded like little children. It was weird. Northern Parula, black-throated blue warbler, like I mentioned, red-eyed vireo, magnolia warbler, white-throated sparrow, black and white warbler, and chipping sparrow.
Cool. How many moose?
I did not see any moose.
How many bears?
I did not see any bears.
How many wolves?
I did not see any wolves.
God, you suck.
Yeah, I didn't see any kind of tracks
Foxes?
or anything like that, too. No, I didn't see or hear foxes.
So you wouldn't know what they say?
I don't know what they say.
Okay. Niantic games we always talk about when we do TLDRs or infodumping or whatever. There's a bunch in the parking lot.
Yeah, I didn't check on the trail, but the parking lot's got some.
It's too new. It opened a week ago. I don't think they'd have any up there.
Yeah, maybe listeners here can submit some.
Anyway, what are your final thoughts on the matter?
I really like the trail. I'm always a fan of something new, and I love the location. We end up going to the visitor center almost every time we're here because it has internet there. So yeah, I'm gonna stop by and say, I'm gonna do the trail again. So
here's a question that would probably be on the final thoughts and the idea of doing it again. What was like the I guess proportion of like deciduous trees on there? Like, is this going to be a fall trail, do you think, or no?
It could be. I remember one section of Boardwalk in particular where you're going through a bunch of pine trees and all of a sudden the forest just changes over. And then you're into the deciduous trees, a lot younger forest area, which is really cool. So I imagine that area is going to be nice in the fall. I didn't pay enough attention to what kind of trees, as far as are they a bunch of maple that are going to turn colors, or are they the poplars?
I know back there's a lot though, because that's kind of in the direction that you'd see from what I could tell of the trail. Like, you know how there's that overlook behind the visitor center? Like, if you go into the visitor center,
right?
I think it looks down. Like, you could probably see part of the trail from there.
Probably.
Maybe not. The general area, I mean, that whole general area, it seems like I think there's a bunch of a mix.
Yeah.
So it's probably beautiful.
I think it'll be great. Maybe we'll check it out again in the fall and report on that.
Cool. Anything else to say?
Nope. Check it out and let us know what you think. On that note, we've got on our blog, you can check out our reviews of Algonquin Provincial Park. We've got the Mule Lake Campground. We've got the Canis Bay Lake.
We've got almost every campground. We've got individual ones for each of them, plus Provoking Falls. If you're listening to this now as a brand new one, Provoking Falls is closed indefinitely because of the bridge out. But
yes,
maybe we'll be able to update that sometime.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, like and subscribe here and on the blog and hear us ramble on with our nonsense.
Sounds good. See you next time.